All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers because 24 hours from now, you guys are going to be 6-3. I'll knock on some wood for you guys, but nonetheless, the Chargers are 6-3. And what's crazy is if you're watching these games, they're not even close to perfect. Now, you don't have to be a perfect team for 17 regular season games, but you do want to have more complete games. And it's just funny because the Chargers will come out here, they'll dominate one half, and then the second half, they just take their foot a little bit off of the pedal. Justin Herbert's only turned the ball over twice this season. That's top for the fewest in the league. The Chargers are turning it over only on 3.3% of their drives. That's the lowest rate in the league. So my point is, while the efficiency isn't perfect, and we're going to run through it in tonight's video, the efficiency is not perfect. You're still winning football games, and you still have one of the most underrated somehow quarterbacks in the National Football League in Justin Herbert. But most importantly, attention to detail, right? Football is a game of the margins. It's a game of the inches. Well, thankfully, Jim Harbaugh is the head coach for this team. And long term, I feel really good. We made a Chargers video on this channel a couple of nights ago, and we were talking about how this is year one. This is a process. And the fact that the Chargers are halfway through the season on pace to make the playoffs, it's just so impressive. And it's only going to get better. And what Harbaugh has done to this team, the culture shift, it truly is spectacular. And I know a lot of my Chargers fans watching this video right now don't want to get too ahead of yourselves, but I'm telling you, man, the future is extremely bright. And hey, you know what? The present is bright too, because who's complaining at 5-3? Welcome back to the channel, folks. Hope you guys are doing well. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. If we could try and get this video to 100 likes, folks, that would mean the absolute world to me. So Daniel Popper wrote a great article over on The Athletic, and we're going to run through some of his points because he kind of broke it down perfectly. Like, for example, Herbert is having a really good year. 10 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, almost 1,800 passing yards, but they haven't needed him do too much, right? One thing that's been very peculiar is, because it's Harbaugh, they're struggling to run the ball consistently. That's the key word with this Chargers team, consistency. So Chargers, oh my God. Sorry, man, that Zin made my freaking throat rip. Anyways, the Chargers currently rank 28th in rushing success rate. All right, of their 203 designed rushes, 20% have gone for negative or 0 yards. That cannot happen. And a perfect example is this past Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. The Chargers were up 20-3 at halftime. All right. In the second half, they had a 22.2% rushing success rate. They had 3 rushes go for 0 or negative yards, and they gained 1 first down on their first 5 drives of the second half. So we want to see a complete 4-quarter football game. I think they have a golden opportunity to do that against the Tennessee Titans tomorrow afternoon. But they also have the league's highest 3-and-out rate at nearly 50%. Their 3-and-out rate's at 45.1%. Now, for some context, the 2023 New England Patriots offense led the league last year in that category at 45.8%. So it's a 0.7% difference. Not good. The Patriots were not good last year. It's kind of crazy looking in. When you see these stats, it's kind of crazy this Chargers team is actually 5-3 here. And I get it. They're beating on lower quality opponents in some of these games. I get it. It's not perfect. Once again, this is a process. But to go even further, the Chargers are 31st in overall offensive success rate and are 22nd in EPA per play. So they're just not consistent enough. All right. They're making big time plays. In fact, Herbert, since week 6, he's completed 19 passes of at least 20 yards. Guys, the only quarterback in front of him is the Baltimore Ravens. All right. Herbert has been pressured at an insane rate. And in our video this past week, we highlighted it. You got a couple of cool tackles. Joe Alt, future extremely bright. But this is where we get back to the process, because the interior offensive line has been horrible. It's literally been horrible. And that, and a tight end and a wide receiver and round out the defense, those are the types of moves you'll see in this offseason, right? You'll see it in the draft. You'll see it in free agency. Maybe we'll see a trade. But this is kind of almost an evaluation period for this team. But Herbert was pressured 47.1% of his dropbacks against the Cleveland Browns this past Sunday. And to make matters worse, he was sacked 6 freaking times. Now, what's crazy and unfortunate, and I feel for my Chargers fans, is this has been a just career thing. In his career, he's been pressured on 36% of his dropbacks in 2023, 36% of his dropbacks back in 2022. The offensive line has just not been right. So my point is, while you have some nice tackles, you hit a home run on Joe Alt, the interior offensive line, it's not good. It's not there. Hopefully they can figure it out for the second half of the season, make a playoff run, hopefully. But the point is, this is stuff you'll start to see vastly improve, in my opinion, in year 2 of Jim Harbaugh. For right now, it's on pace with his career numbers, pressure rate, which is just crazy because they cannot keep him. And he maneuvers. From 2020 to 2023, only 14.5% of his pressures have turned into sacks. That's the 6th lowest rate in the league in that span. But this year, that rate has been moved to just about 23%. So 14.5% to 23% of those pressures against Herbert have turned into sacks. So Herbert got banged up earlier on in the season. He was pretty much playing on one leg for like 2 straight weeks. His health is the most important priority here. And, we'll see offensive line moves this upcoming season, in my opinion, but still got to deal with what you're dealing with this season. The good news is, and we talked more about the defense in our video a couple of days ago, if you guys want to go check that out, the defense is your number one scoring defense in the NFL. I mean, you haven't had an opponent go for over 20 in a single game. So I get it. Maybe you're beating the New Orleans Saints, who suck. Maybe you're beating the Cleveland Browns, who suck. And that Cardinals loss should have never even existed. We go back to week 3, lost by 20 or 10 points, only gave up 20 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, fouled it up. That Chiefs game, I don't even really want to talk about. That bye week was just so big. And since the bye week, the Los Angeles Chargers have won 2 straight games and 3 out of their last 4. But what gets me really excited is the second half schedule that I'll briefly touch on. So there are some heavy hitters, another game against Kansas City, Tennessee on Sunday. The week after that, the Cincinnati Bengals, good team. The Ravens after that, the Falcons after that, the Chiefs after that, all really good teams. The Broncos, the Buccaneers, the Patriots, the Raiders. So my point is, there's a couple of handout games, hopefully, if everything goes as planned. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself once again, but hopefully you can take down the Titans. Hopefully you can take down the Patriots and the Raiders in the last 2 weeks of the season. The point is, that's 8 wins right there. No 10-7 AFC team has missed the playoffs. I know that's a recent change from 16 games to 17 games, but the point is, if the Chargers can get to 10 and they can win, just like literally take care of business in those 3 weaker opponents and just win one of these games, Kansas City, Atlanta, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Tampa, Denver, just win 2 of those games, you're in the playoffs. All right. That's the midseason evaluation. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If you guys want my Chargers videos, let me know down below. But that's it for me. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. Have a freaking beautiful weekend. Peace.